Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to this new session, Miami, the entry point to the Americas. Thank you all for joining us. I'm your host, Marc-Antoine, and we're very happy to welcome you. Stan, you are moderating this table this morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. So on this panel, we have one of the most remarkable entrepreneur among the French community, and we are going to do it in English, but you will be able to tell that the accent is deep here on this session. We have Eric Tourtel, who is SVP and who has created TIDS for the LATAM market. We have Boris Bro, who is the CEO of Bo Group, a fast-growing and consumer-driven IoT specialist. And we have Dominique, who is leading Cintu as a CEO. And actually, we are going to start with you, Dominique, and I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourself, what is your company doing, and what is your position within your company.
Okay. Hi, Stan. Hi, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to present at Miami Live. This is really a fantastic opportunity. So my name is Dominique Pouliquin. I'm from Brittany, as you can tell, but from my last name. But I've been in the US for about 10 years now. Okay, so now I manage Cintu. Cintu is a startup. It's a French startup based in Sophia Antipolis, south of France. It's a spin-off from a lab called CNRS that develops a SaaS-based platform for architects and engineers, bridging the gap between what we call laser scanning and what we call digital twin and BIM. Okay, so it's very B2B oriented. Our customers are the big guys like general contractors, like the Bouygues, Vinci in France, but also Turner Construction, Ford, FCA, all these guys that need to have a digital twin of their facility or construction site or factories to do some stuff. Okay, so very strong technology coming from a lab. And this is what I like to do, is bring technology to the business, okay? And I started doing this 20 years ago. I created the first startup called RealViz that was also a spin-off from a lab called INRIA, also in Sophia Antipolis. And I was CEO of this company for 10 years. And then I sold it to Autodesk. Autodesk is a developer of AutoCAD. They are based in San Francisco. So I sold this technology in 2008 to this company, and then I moved to California. I was working as a product manager and a business development manager for what they call the Reality Solutions Group inside Autodesk. So I've been in this industry for more than 25 years, and this is my second entrepreneurship adventure, but on the same foundation. So taking a very strong technology, a lot of PhDs that have been developing this technology, and make it a product that is useful for this community. So this is what I like to do.
Thank you for sharing. Eric, you want to continue with this to introduce yourself and TIDS?
Sure. So Eric Tourtel, I'm from Bayonne, south of France. I've always worked in advertising for the French people. I launched Le Petit Futé in Spain, and then moved to several newspapers. I was commercial director of El Mundo, moved to London. I was head of international sales of AOL, and then switched to TIDS, which was e-buzzing at the time. And I've been in Miami for 7 years, and as Stan said, I launched TIDS across Latin America. TIDS, if you don't know TIDS, it's pretty simple. Every time you read an article in any newspaper, basically, between two paragraphs, you're going to see a video ad, not the one that hides the content and bothers you, the one that you can just scroll and doesn't bother.
The relevant one.
Exactly, the good one, the one that's just the best placement, but doesn't bother you. If you want to see it, you see it. Otherwise, it's fine. If you don't see it, we don't charge you for it, by the way. So we invented that, and basically now, based on technology, we connect literally every single advertiser globally to their users. The strength we have is the fact that we read every single article. So every day we read about 100 million articles, and based on the content of the article, we're going to exclude everything that's not brand safe, that speaks about awful stuff, etc. But we especially, since we know what people read versus imagining, so we know exactly what they read. We can target ads exactly in the right context, and we can also predict the behavior of users based on their past content consumption.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, and Boris, if you can introduce yourself.
Yes, Stan. So I'm very pleased to join Miami Live and to share a little bit of my experience. I'm 41 years old. I moved here in Florida 4 years ago. Actually, I started my career almost 20 years ago in the electronic consumer products in Taiwan, where I spent the first 10 years of my career. And so I can tell that definitely Miami is better than Taiwan. But I learned a lot with my Taiwanese colleagues from my industry, and before founding Bo Group back in 2015. We run a couple brands. Actually, one of them I founded in 2013 is named Micronose. The headquarters is in Geneva. We sold so far 3 million of smartwatches. And we run 3 years ago in 2017 from Miami, the biggest campaign ever from a crowdfunding platform on Kickstarter and then on Indiegogo, where we raised $8 million. So we are quite proud of this milestone. And I came to actually to Florida because for me was with only 6 hours different from Europe, the best place to run my US activity and to open the retail channels with our own team, and as well to be able still to be connected to my European headquarters, because since this time, I mean 18 months ago, I acquired one of very known French design house named Lexon, where the headquarters is in Paris, and I have more than 40 people there. And from Miami, I'm able now to develop the US retail, which is becoming more and more significant in terms of revenue for our group. We open big channels such as Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, the MoMA, Best Buy, Target, and we are continuing to do that with my sales team here in the United States. And I'm still waking up quite early every morning to manage my team in Europe.
I was about to ask, where are you? What's the background? Because that's are you based in Miami right now as we speak?
Yeah. This is exactly the same building of where Rachel and the factory is.
Got it.
100 Biscayne Boulevard, and you have.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, and for the introduction. I should have asked it before, but what's roughly your business breakdown between the US market and the LATAM market or the European market for you guys, Dominique, for instance?
Oh yeah, so we are still in the startup phase, but we do about 80%, 80% in the North America.
Got it.
Okay, and the rest is done in worldwide, in France, UK, Australia. The Latin America and the South America business is just opening. We have prospects now in Colombia, Chile, and Mexico, but it's just a beginning. But the most important for us was to be in North America. This is the main.
Eric, how about you? What's the breakdown for TIDS? Well, I think I know the answer, but...
Well, we do a lot in Latin. No, that is we're global. I mean, we have about 1,000 employees and on 26 countries. Latin America represents anywhere between 10 and 12% of the volume, which is huge because Latin America in what we do represent 5 to 6% of the global digital spend market. And yeah, and then
your activity is fully with the Latin market.
Yeah, I run only Latin America, but I do maybe about 15% of my business is made out of Miami, but they are only campaigns that go south. So people buying from Miami across all Latin America.
Okay, and Boris, what is the breakdown on your end?
Yes, so I mean, we started recently, as I told you. So the first move was back in 2016. The 2017 was our first year of revenue with this digital campaign on the crowdfunding platforms. And since then, we last year was the first time that it represented more than 10%, 2 digits of the part of Bow Group. And this year, despite the pandemic, I'm very glad that thanks to what the team has done here and thanks to the innovations of our product, we have a growth of more than 150%. And by the end of 2020, it should represent almost 20%. The perspective that we have is to still make US and Latin America from Miami more important for the group and represent more than a third of our revenue. This is our target for the next 3 years.
Got it. And I realized I haven't introduced S4M. So S4M is a drive-to-store platform. Basically, we help brands to drive more traffic to their physical location, which is right now a massive challenge, as you can imagine. From Miami and for the Americas, I would say 80% of our business is on the North American part and 20% for the LATAM market. And the tricky part with the LATAM market, everyone consider it as a market, but it's really the sum of multiple markets that you need to address, sometimes very separately. Dominique, I'm going to give you the floor because I would like you to share with the audience what was your move from California a few years ago, or a few months ago actually, from California to Florida and Miami. Why it happened and how it happened?
Okay, no, this is an interesting question. And we have been in Miami for about 18 months now, about 1.5 years, and we absolutely love it. But this is another story. The main reason for moving was more economic than a way of life. But since I like fishing, I like going to the beach. I love Miami. So anyway, it was a really good move. And so starting from the beginning, San Francisco and the Silicon Valley is definitely a nice place to be as well. Some people say it's a must-have in the high-tech industry, what we are in, but the reality is very different. Okay, I moved to San Francisco from France when I sold my company to Autodesk. And the San Francisco or Silicon Valley is a place to be when you work for a big company, okay? And this is, you have to move to San Francisco if you make sure that you are going to get a very high salary. You're going to be in a very good conditions, okay? San Francisco is a complete paradox. It's probably one of the cities where you have the highest salaries, but nobody is making any money. You spend all your money all the time, okay? Any house will cost you $6,000 to $8,000 a month. Taking the kids to school will cost you $25,000 a year. So and then you are being taxed to 45% of this. So even to pay for your rent or for your house, you have to make at least $100,000 to start with, okay? So this is a complete paradox. So this city is interesting, definitely a lot of connections, but when you don't work for a big company, it's pretty difficult. So what happened to me when I co-founded Syntu with my colleagues in France, I moved from being an employee with a high salary in a big company to being by myself at home, okay, with of course much lower salary because we have to make efforts, okay. So this is not a situation that you can stand in California. So the main reason was cost, okay. Cost is becoming too high. And I know a lot of people in my colleagues or my entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs in California that are also considering moving to other places because of that. The second aspect for me was the time difference. Okay, when you work from home with a research and development team that is based in France, 9 hours difference is too big. Okay, you have to wake up at 5 a.m. You have to do a lot of efforts. Okay, and the point is that by noon, your day is over. Okay, by noon in California, your day is over. And I would say even on Friday, your day is over, even in the US, okay? So you're on weekends every Friday at noon because nobody would work afternoon, okay? So this is a really, you feel that California is very far away from everything else, okay? It's like the end of the country on the western side, very far from
just for the audience, so we have plus 6 hours on the East Coast, so in Florida, and we have plus 9 hours difference on the West Coast.
Absolutely, and those 3 hours difference make a big difference. Now, being in Miami, being on the East Coast, okay, I can start my meeting at 8 a.m. here in Florida, and it's only 2 p.m. in France. So I can interact with my team until 1 p.m., even with my CTO, we often speak until 4 p.m., Miami time, and it's 10 p.m. there, but at least we have a full day of connectivity, of connection with my French team. That was the number one reason why we moved with my wife, we moved to Florida. First, we decided to move to the East Coast because of those reasons. The second reason for this time difference, that my customers are mostly, say, industrial customers, okay? As I said, general contractors, people in the automobile industry, like in Detroit, we have Ford, we have FCA, we also have Tesla customers. All those customers, they are not on the West Coast. They are on the East Coast or Central Times, okay, in most cases. So if you work with the heavy industries of the US, they are all either on the East Coast time or the Central Times. They are not on the West Coast times. So even discussing with my business partners or customers was easier from the East Coast than from the West Coast.
Interesting. So basically what you're saying that the expectations that an entrepreneur can have when he moves to the West Coast is actually more related to the ecosystem itself than related to its business. As per se.
Absolutely. This is a good point. Definitely, ecosystem-wise, in the high-tech industry, San Francisco, the Silicon Valley is a place to be. But it depends also which kind of high-tech. Okay, in consumer high-tech, like the social media, the Facebook, the Googles, they are all in the Silicon Valley for sure. When it comes to more like a B2B type of high-tech, which we are in, there are companies everywhere. The place, for example, for the architecture, engineering, and construction, the hub today is more Boston than San Francisco, okay, or New York, okay. So it's not really. It depends which kind of high tech you are considering working with. But definitely San Francisco. But again, if you want to move to the US from France, only you have to consider all options. San Francisco will be very, very, very expensive. You have to make sure that you move with the right budget, with the right conditions, ideally being hired by a high-tech, a company that will pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But be honest, even if you make $200,000 or $300,000 a year, you are not going to make any money.
Okay.
This is a paradox
so
of this.
Cost and time difference. Moving to you, Eric, when you started TIDS Latam from Miami, why did you pick Miami and I don't know against Mexico, for instance, or what's the whole idea behind?
So the whole idea behind was to get some sun. That's the sad reality. But there's tons of reasons why that was the good choice. The truth is, I was hired to run all the international business at IDS, and as Dominic said, you can do that from Miami and get some sun. And I also fish a lot, so I don't mind waking up early. So I hired a bunch of people that are actually still working at IDS London now. The thing is, while I was here, I said, okay, I'm here. I'm going to hire 1 or 2 sales guys so they can at least pay my salary. And Miami started to really sell a lot. And there's Mexico is not that far, and I started at that. And there was, after a year, I talked to my boss and I said, look, I don't want to be 2 weeks per month. It costs a fortune to fly me to London all the time. There's tons of people like me in London, not that many in Miami. Let's try LATAM. And it was a good bet. The reality is, Miami is awesome for many reasons. Number one, if you plan to be in the US, you only pay federal income tax. Okay, so you pay taxes on your salary, but only to the US, not to Florida. If you're in California, in New York, it's going to be 10-12% more on our salaries. That makes a big difference. Then you have sun, you can fish, swim, whatever you want. Cycle, golf, etc. We have fantastic weather all year long. The other good thing about Miami is, despite not being a capital, it has all the good things. You have direct flights to literally every single big city of the world. I mean, there's so many things. And in the case of Latin America, again, it's much easier to run Latin America from Miami, because of the flights, even if, to be honest, I think post-COVID, the business travel is going to change forever, and a lot of people will stay out. But the thing is, again, it's much easier to go from Miami to Peru than from Mexico to Peru, because maybe you don't have a direct flight. No. The other good thing is that in Miami, Miami is bilingual. Okay, you really need both languages, by the way. But the thing is, you will find people from every country in Latin America in Miami, and people with local knowledge of each country in Latin America in Miami, which doesn't happen in the rest of the places. And as Stan said at the beginning, and I had that fight a zillion times with my boss. LATAM is not a country. It's 21 countries with tons of currencies that go up and down, and it's a world apart. So you need to really treat each country separately. We don't have one unique currency like in Europe, which is awesome. And you can find all of that in Miami. And you can find people that have been doing what I've done, for example, which is launching a company and going through tons of problems in the beginning. Yeah. And that's that's awesome.
But from Miami, you have created several offices in different LATAM markets afterwards.
Yeah, I have six offices. We call top 6, same as in Europe. We have top 5. There's top 6. So Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Chile, and Peru. And then my headquarters is in Miami. Okay. And I have local teams everywhere.
So I think what's important to understand for the audience is that Miami historically was the back office for the LATAM market for major companies in the US. So when you want to start a business in LATAM, but as we said it before, it's not one market, it's more than 20, and let's say with a big 6 or big 7, depending on your industry. If you want to do that, the only way you can do that is to first settle a back office in Miami. From here, you can travel to your different key markets in LATAM and slowly build your success and open new offices, which is exactly what we are doing at S4M right now. And Eric, it has been, you said 5 years, 6 years? 7 years. So
7 years.
after 7 years, now TID, which is a big company, has opened 6 other offices in LATAM. Okay, back to you, Boris. I'd like you also to share, because Bow Group is still deeply connected with Europe, where you have your partners, your providers, and you develop your at a global level from Miami. Can you share what are the pros and cons to have your activity based in Miami?
Yes, I think, I mean, I'm not going to repeat what Eric and Dominique shared about the life quality, obviously, that we have here in Florida as well. That from a tax perspective, it's interesting for entrepreneur to settle their business here. But if we have selected Miami for Bow Group, was because for me it's an international hub. You are inside the United States, being able to address all the country with an American company, but as well at the same time, as Eric said, you can handle your Latin business. And I think was one of the important choice for us was to make sure that we are here in the United States, being able to address new markets, but as well, because I had my senior management still in Europe, being able to be connected with them. So of course, as Dominique said, the 6 hours difference help us a lot to be connected. Here, I just say we are international hub. I just feel sometimes that even, I think all around this call, we have Latin roots. And being here in Miami, I sometimes feel that I'm not in the United States because I meet so many of my Italian friends, French people, international people that you are not. And I think Dominique will agree with me. Being in San Francisco, I used to travel a lot in my business career to West Coast. You have much more American people, and you feel a little bit more lost when you are French in the West Coast than here in Miami, where you have so many Latin people, which are closer from our culture and the way that we handle the business. And then I think I have found, and I think it's a very important point to share with the audience, is that here I have a few of my team are French-spoken people, which help me to be connected with my back office in Geneva and in Paris. And it's true that the fact that being in Miami with French-spoken people, being able to address the US and Latin markets, connected with only 6 hours to our headquarters, make me the choice to really select Miami, and today to say anybody who is hesitating to open the US market and having even a heavy structure in Europe, I told them that probably one of my best choice was definitely to take the risk to move 4 years ago here to Florida. And I almost, it was a last second choice, actually. I was almost going to move to New York because in New York, obviously for my business, there is all the big retailers, Bloomingdale's headquarters. A lot of big retailers who can promote and select my products and my brands. But I decided to move here because I received an order of 30,000 pieces of smartwatches, $1 million US business for Peru. And I discovered Miami, and I just say, wow, it's an amazing city. People are friendly, and I can do exactly the same that what I was supposed to build in New York for a fragment of a price. Because it's true that when I did my business plan based on New York, and I saw all the expenses that I had to cover to start this business from zero, and when I compare to what I can rent here, what I can get access to from the logistic wise as well, opening a warehouse, having my product store here, I just feel that Florida was an easy access, easy way to start my activity. So this is what I can share with the audience, and I hope it will help people to
absolutely
to make the right.
To give you guys some key figures, I'm not going to go into too much details, but to give you an idea, like in Miami, the office space is something around 400 square meter, and we pay around 10,000 USD. In New York, the office space is 30K per month, and we have half of this surface. Another key figure that the tax we pay on employees are around 8% in Miami, when it's actually closer to 14 or 15% in New York. Another figure that I can share that we were talking about tax. You have two different taxes in the US, federal tax and the state tax, which you don't have both in Miami. So it's pretty much a saving of 10% on your salary. So at the end of the day, when you are building a company, it makes a huge difference on the bottom line, of course. Mm. And you get more choices when it comes to hire new people, and those people will help you get access to the next phase of your entrepreneurship. Okay. Eric, you wanted to add something?
One thing as well is, I mean, because people maybe don't know that, but we're 2 hours and a half away from, away from New York. I mean, you can perfectly, it's like when you're in Europe, it's London and Paris, you know, you go there in the morning, come back at night, and yeah, you can do a bunch of meetings in the middle. The other thing that we didn't mention is Miami is a pretty cool place to live in general, and it's pretty easy to attract talent and to move and relocate talent in Miami. There's a lot of people in Latin America that would kill to live in Miami. Now, especially with the last situation in the White House, visas are not necessarily super easy to get, but for senior people, it's not too much of a big deal. But a lot of people in America, I mean, if you live in Detroit or anywhere where it's freezing, if you can have 30 degrees all year long and all the cool stuff in Miami, I mean, my point is you can attract good talent, and the life is not crazy expensive like in New York or especially in the Silicon Valley, as Dominique was saying. So it's a super good balance for young people that want to grow, and that's pretty amazing.
True. I think we see more and more people coming from New York. I have people from New York here in Miami. I have people from Chicago. I have people from the West Coast in our team who decided to change because, as Dominique said, other cities can be way too expensive just to experience a normal life, to put your kids in good schools. It's a challenge, which is a bit less the case in Miami. Miami is still an expensive city compared to France, for instance, but it is much less expensive than cities like New York or LA or San Francisco, of course.
Mm-hmm. One comment I would like to make, it's about software developers, okay? To be, I didn't start yet the process of hiring software developers in Miami because we said that all software development will be done in France. On that, I think this is a good way to go. But I can tell about the reality of hiring developers in California, or say in San Francisco and the Silicon Valley. This is a nightmare because, you know, first you pay them a lot of money, okay, and they don't stay. They don't stay because there is no loyalty to the company, because you get so much attracted by the big guys like the Google, the Facebook, etc. That the person, we have seen this in my case in working for Autodesk in San Francisco. You will attract talents from Europe. You will pay them everything like the visa and the green card. Once they've got the green card, they leave and they go to Facebook or Google, okay, or the big company like that. So there is absolutely no, first you pay them a lot, but still they don't stay with you. Okay, there is no royalty. I don't know about the software development situation in Miami, to be honest, so I cannot comment on this. But globally speaking, hiring developers in California is a nightmare, and you have to have a big budget.
No, but
anyway,
I think it's a wider topic, and you have just answered Elisabeth Gazet's question about and Christelle Maffrey about what is the retaining strategy for talents. It's not only about developers, because developers can be very expensive, but it's any type of talents. When you go to New York and you have to hire a team of sales, you hire 10 of them, they will need a 3 months to 5 months ramp-up period, and then you will lose them a year later, basically. They will ask you for a job title change, and once it is done, they will look for another opportunity, and that's the way it is. It's fine. It's a huge challenge for French companies, because we need to improve our processes, we need to improve our job desk, we need to get used to that come and leave situation. And you said it, Dominique, there is very few loyalty to companies. And if you don't have a very clear and simple program for your talents, it's a risk. You are about to lose them within the next 2 years. And when you build a company, when you create an activity, you need at least 2 years with the same people to create some kind of value, nail your process and everything. So it is a challenge. It is less a challenge in Miami. I have to say the market, the mercato, as we could say, for companies is a bit less intense. So I can more easily keep our talent because they have a little bit less choice, and therefore I am here to help them grow with the same company for a couple of years. And you can easily see that on their resume. People from New York, they change every 18 months to 2 years. In Miami, you can see the same company for 4 years on their resume. So it's an interesting aspect.
We do have questions, if you don't mind tackling those. Mario is asking the role of Miami as an e-commerce hub.
Boris, do you want to take this one, or I'm sorry, I'm throwing you under the bus?
No, yes, I mean, I think we had here the opportunity at Bow Group to run a couple challenges about our e-commerce business, and we had to make some decisions about how to set up our e-commerce hub here in the United States to dispatch the brands that we have in our portfolio from Lexon to Micronos. What we have found interesting is that now in the United States, a lot of our retailers offer us the program of drop shipping. So which means that we have listed most of our products on neimanmarcus.com to officedepot.com to Target, bestbuy.com. And actually we are receiving the orders in white label from the end users directly. It's invoiced by those big retailers and shipped directly from our warehouse. So we had one here in Florida, and actually we opened a second one that last June, so almost a year ago, a little bit more than a year and 3 months ago, in Nevada, because all our products, of course, are manufactured in China. Only in 2 weeks' time we can put them in a sea cargo, shipped to Los Angeles, and then store at a very interesting price in the middle of the desert near Anderson in Nevada. And from there, we are shipping all across the United States to every single consumers. So again, from Miami, and with all the different platforms and looking to the most cost-efficient places across the United States, you are able to promote your brands, and with your team, but you are able as well to pick up different places across the United States where you can store at a very interesting price your product and ship them across all the states. And I think this is one of the experience that we had, and that will continue to push, is to be the closest for our business, again, activity, closest to China. Only 2 weeks, I repeat, compared to 6 weeks by boat, Florida to China. So it's a third of the time, and we can ship all across the United States very easily with all our big retailers.
No, it's a great answer, because I think your question, Maria, was also about the supply chain, and not only the tech part of what is an e-commerce hub, but really what's in the back end, what are every component of the supply chain. And of course, Miami is very well positioned on that part. Mark, did you see another question that we haven't covered?
Yeah, the first question of Maria was about the effects of COVID on your businesses, each of you, the challenges and opportunities that arose with the COVID outbreak.
Dominique?
Yeah. Yes, I can start with that, definitely. There has been two impacts, I would say, with the COVID. The first one is negative, because we have seen a slowdown in the purchasing decisions from big groups, because our target are big companies. And definitely those big groups, they don't make any purchasing decision now, okay, or very little. Or if they said, okay, I would buy that much, in fact, they just start by buying this much, okay? So much lower, revenue than anticipated. The positive aspect of this is, though, since we develop a SaaS platform, so we use a cloud to deliver data to the teams, I would say, working on those big buildings. The COVID has proven, if it was necessary to do so, the COVID has proven the value proposition of what we do. Because with our platform, big companies could continue doing their business even with the teams at home, okay? So a very good proof of the value proposition on one hand, but to be honest, a slowdown in the purchasing decision on the other side. So hopefully we will get out from this in January, but we are looking forward to have to have the next step in the pandemic, and this to be over or behind us. Okay. Yes.
Eric, do you want to share your view on that?
Yes. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but I have to say it. But there's always better than selling drive to store when people can't go to the stores. No, seriously. We have the chance to work with tons of advertisers of every single industry. For example, my luxury and like all luxury or retail clients went down massively, but all my e-commerce clients or distribution, etc., or credit cards clients went super up. So in our case, if we have seen in April a massive drop, we have done pretty good. But again, I think our position is we're lucky that, again, we work with such a broad type of client that one has compensated the other. And we also had the chance of every time there's a boycott to Facebook or YouTube, we get part of the money, and sometimes you have to be lucky. We launched a social product that we pushed everywhere, and then bam, boycott. And we took advantage of that. So in our case, yes, we've lost some money, but that didn't go too bad for us. What I think has been really good of COVID is it just taught us that people can work from home extremely well. I had 2 people in my entire team that can work from home because I trust them and I would trust no one, and I was wrong. People do work very well from home. I see more my team now than I used to see them before, because I have calls every week with all the teams in I can organize a massive conference call with one client in Peru with all my regional team that would cost me 50 grand just to fly them there on a day. And now they can do that. I can even put my CEO or whoever I want and be super relevant in a place where you wouldn't go. So there's, in my case, it's been pretty positive dentro de lo que hay.
Boris?
Yeah, I think, I mean, positive message that I will try to share and experience like Eric. Me personally, I was used since I moved here in Florida to spend, for people who know me, 2 weeks in Miami and 2 weeks back in Europe. So, or 3 weeks. And since this pandemic, I'm really operating now only from Miami. I run a webinar every week with my team, with my customers, to share what I mean, to share the values of the company to the team members, but as well to be resilient with our customers and to continue to find solutions together to try to push more digital. And we increase this part of the business by 2 times. I can share that in September we did a better month on 2020 than in 2019, which was for me a huge milestone, a lot of efforts after these difficult months. So I think all the investment that we put on being close to our partners was really relevant. And again, what I'm pretty proud is that I have been able to keep all the team members. I didn't fire anybody. In France, with our French company, we got the PGE, Prêt Garanti de l'État, for our companies. We have been helped as well with our Swiss company. And in the United States, even I'm here with the E2 visa, I have been able to get the help for the PPP to maintain the employees, as well as the SBA. So I got the full package to really maintain the activity, maintain the team members, and try to go through this difficult moment. That I think the most difficult part was the uncertainty of the future. We didn't know what will happen next morning, what will be what the customers will react, if they will be able to pay, and so on. So the immediate answers that you want to do is to lay off the people. I mean, to cut the cost and so on, to cut the cost and so on, and then really being helped so much, and even as almost a non-immigrant. I mean, with this visa, I was not sure that I will be helped with a subsidiary in the US in Florida. I was really happy to have this easy access to the funds, and now that we even hire a new guy today. I mean, yesterday actually was his. So we developed the company, and I think it's a good move that I can share again today with the audience.
I think it's part of the question. The answer is part of Joel Luero question, and it is true. If I can share also my experience. So, of course, as Eric was trying to make fun of me again, S4M is a drive to store platform. So when stores are closed, it's a challenge. So the activity stopped pretty much from one day to another. But we can also support brands because not every location were closed, and our technology allows us to support those brands and to advertise their brands where it is closed, when it's open, and when it's closed, we don't need to display any ad. So that was really part of the strategy, and I'm glad we could weather the storm. I also think that there is a massive difference between companies with a French culture against other companies in the US. We put the people first because it's such a struggle to hire a team in the US that we wanted to keep that team. And even if it's sometimes not the best decision, we wanted to weather the storm with the same team that we struggled so much to hire in the couple of last years. And as you said, Boris, I was very surprised and happy that we could get access to the PPP to help us to weather that storm. So of course, the whole year is going to be a mixed year, sorry, after 100% growth last year and the year before. This one should be profitable, but barely. And hopefully, as Dominique said, next year is it's a new adventure with the vaccine, with some treatment, and we can get back to business as usual.
Yeah, so something I found as well is that, of course, we're for meeting new customers. Okay, I used to fly to Las Vegas 4 or 5 times a year for various, trade shows. This did not happen this year. So you have to rely on those kind of virtual conferences as we do today. I don't have the background yet, but I feel that we got much less prospects with these virtual interactions than we could have by going face-to-face, meeting with customers. We have one big event coming in November, which is called the Autodesk University. 15,000 people in Las Vegas usually. This year will be purely virtual. And so we'll see what happens. So again, I'm looking forward to being back to normal because you say virtual meetings is not the answer to everything. You have sometimes to meet people, demo your software, talk to them one-to-one. So hopefully 2021, we will be back to the normal situation.
Yeah, and I think we will be much stronger because as Eric said, we found out new ways to run our businesses. And that's again a proof that especially in the tech industry sector, we are very resilient. Mm-hmm. So most of the people I'm talking to told me that they have improved their productivity, their company, their processes. And so when the business will come back, not only they will have new clients that they would not have had without that pandemic, but internally the whole tech is better, the whole process part is better. So I'm very hopeful about 2021.
Stan, a few minutes left. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
Just a few minutes left. There's one more question, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody who has or may still have questions, feel free to reach out directly to Dominique, Boris, and Eric, and Stan. In people that's in the top right corner of your screen, you can find them and really connect with them one-on-one. I'm sure you'll be happy to take questions offline as well. Do we have quick word on 5G technology that Marc Malaise asked?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because and James, guys, do me a favor. You need to stay for James' conference. It's the one after. James is a great guy. He's a CEO of the Florida Technology Council. The Florida Technology Council is also part of the collaborative I was talking about with Tallahassee, Tampa, Fort Lauderdale. And of course, he's a funny guy, as you can tell in the chat. But long story short, he wrote an article about 5G technology and the fact that some forces are trying to slow down the 5G technology in Florida. I'm talking about Russia. It was coming from an FBI source. They are trying to slow down that part because it is obviously a very interesting technology that will enable a lot of business, from advertising to health tech to construction tech, everything that you can imagine with the cloud technology, with direct access to an internet network anywhere at any time. So it's of course something that we are monitoring very closely. To give you a few examples, a surgeon could operate someone from another state in live using a camera thanks to 5G. So you can only imagine what could be the potential for certain countries where there is a lack of infrastructure. And it's the same with construction. Basically, every type of expertise could be spread out very easily because we could work remotely on a very real situation. That was the take on 5G. I don't know if you guys have other thing to say about 5G.
We're also looking a lot for at 5G being one of the promising technologies for construction sites or even factories and plants, because it's all about being connected to the cloud where your data is now, for sure, and on all about connecting your facility or your buildings via the cloud to your office as well. So having anything like IoT, so your equipment being equipped with IoT devices that can interact with you directly on your screen. On all of this is our future, definitely. So definitely a very promising technology for everything we do at Cintu.
In our case, I mean, we 50% of what we sell is video advertising, which is super heavy, and 30% is performance, for which, so that means pure result on people buying online. So for us, latency is also a massive issue. So anything that makes the connection faster is greatly expected for on our side, and I'm pretty sure for Stan is the same multiplied by 10. So yeah, 5G is going to help for sure.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. I would encourage the audience to use the networking feature on this platform. We have something around 150 people connected right now. It's a good time to share your experiences. You will have a few minutes, and then we have the next conference. James Taylor, again, who is the CEO of Florida Technology Council, will be with the Secretary of Commerce and Ruvos, the company Ruvos, to discuss all those great things in Florida and South Florida.
Very much, Stan. Thank you.
Thank you, Boris, Dominique, Eric, for your time and for sharing all your insight, inputs. It was very interesting.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to going fishing with Eric.
Yes, absolutely. Like anytime.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.